for a film made in Pakistan to be released outside that country. But Janaan has been seen in 18 countries around the world. It's had a European premiere and it's made it into the UK box office's top 10, a first for a Pakistani film. The cast and crew are hoping it will showcase the positive side of the country and boost interest in Pakistan's film industry. Well, Bilal Ashraf is one of the stars of the movie. We'll talk to him in just a moment. First, though, let's see a clip from the film.
Activists say that the drone strikes, they target militants in
Mina, that's where you're going?
It's just for a family wedding.
The second she lands, they're gonna marry her off in one of those shuttlecock burqas.
Yalla habibi.
ये जो आप मुसलसल दानियाल और असफंदियार की बातें कर रहे हैं, मुझे ऐसे क्यों लग रहा है कि मैं कुर्बानी का बकरा बन के घर जा रही हूँ? एक तरफ दानियाल, इस्लामाबाद का शोधा, और दूसरी तरफ असफंदियार, मोटा, नालायक, खड़ूस।
Mina?
Huh?
Welcome to the programme. I was reading in all the information for this film. They describe it as a romantic comedy that also looks at issues like abuse. I didn't think you could get those two phrases into the same sentence, so tell me a little more.
Well, it is a romantic comedy, but just not a romantic comedy. It has a very strong social message, which highlights child abuse, and it also highlights the importance of educating children in Pakistan, depicting a more positive side of Pakistan, and I think we've tried our level best to do it to, we're representing Pakistan in the best possible way because there's so much negativity around.
Yeah, well, I'll come back to that in a moment, but you must be tremendously excited. I mean, I mentioned all the countries it's been released in, top 10 here in the UK. It is doing really well.
It is. I'm very humbled. We were excited, nervous. We never thought that we'd come this far when we started making this film. It started on a very small scale. I think I owe it to Imran Kazmi, Harim Farooq and Munir Hussain, who are our producers. And I think Sunil Shah from Beefy, who's really kind of propelled this to another dimension with the international release.
I mentioned just the lack of foreign releases of Pakistani films. I mean, how big is the Pakistani film industry? I mean, it must be very difficult with Bollywood just there on the doorstep.
I think it's still in its early stages, but a lot of films are being made, a lot of good films are being made, and I think there's going to be a time where Pakistan is going to make its own space in world cinema in the next 4 to 5 years. A lot more cinemas are coming up. A lot of people are studying filmmaking and coming back to Pakistan and making good films.
That's interesting. You mentioned the way you wanted to portray Pakistan. This was shot in the Swat Valley. Now, normally, most people would have a perception of that and more attributed to terrorism, the sort of things that you are filming here. Now, did you make a deliberate effort to try to portray Pakistan, this area, in a different way?
No, Swat was hit by terrorism, but it's all cleared out now. We shot there, we didn't even have security, we were walking around, we were shooting, we had a lot of bystanders looking at the shooting, a lot of support from the locals, they were very happy.
And had you thought perhaps you might need security just to move around, to do all those things you've just described, or did you know it wasn't like that?
We knew it's all cleared out, and it's like, it's normal now. It's like any other place in the world. You have good places, you have bad places, certain places get hit sometimes, and then they clear out.
And of course, Malala is from there. She has seen the film.
Yes, she
liked
has. She loved it. Her family watched it. We had a special screening, and she was very happy to see how we are promoting Pakistan in a positive way in terms of education and highlighting some of the very important social issues.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. The world over, I mean, cinema is the same, whether you talk about Hollywood, Bollywood, the British film industry. Money is the crucial thing, investors. Yeah. Is there any sign of foreign investors looking at the Pakistani film industry and thinking this, as you say, in the next 3 or 4 years, might be something that could grow quite markedly?
Yes, we have a lot of interest from the UK. In fact, one of the main producers is from the UK, Mr. Munir Hussain, and he has had a lot of queries after the release of Janaan and after the UK premiere. So a lot of people are looking at Pakistan cinema because I guess making films is not only cheaper there, but there's so many stories that can be tapped into and brought to world cinema.
You talked about issues earlier on. It's interesting because I know it frustrates Bollywood stars that they're always viewed in terms of song and dance, and they say, look, we've long moved away from that and looking at serious issues. Is it similar in Pakistan, just a concentration now on some of the stories that we report here week by week?
Well, I think there's a mix. You know, you get the regular films, but then also I think a lot of people are picking up on stories which are addressing issues within Pakistan and trying to portray it at a global level. And I think Janaan specifically highlights that.
Every time we have a Bollywood star here, there are mobs outside screaming. Were you recognised here today?
By a couple of people. I wouldn't say there were people screaming.
Well, after this film, maybe a little more. Bilal, Ashraf, thank you so much for being with us. Plenty more on today's Global coming up. Don't go away.